Have you ever wondered what are the differences between purchasing a new build property and a resale property? So in this video, I'm hoping to teach you guys a few of the tips that I've learned throughout my years being a real estate agent. What's going on, guys? It's Jeff here. The first would be the deposit structure. When you're buying a resale property, normally you're negotiating your deposit a bit. You might put down a percentage, 5%, but you might also be putting down $50,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever you want to negotiate into the deal. It's not your down payment, it's your deposit with your offer. Now, with a new build home, they might want a certain different types of rules and instructions that you're just gonna have to follow. When I bought my very first property, I had to do a $40,000 deposit, and it was in a tiered deposit of $10,000, $10,000, $10,000, $10,000. And that got me to the $40,000. I actually had to work and make sure that those checks didn't bounce every month because there was a lot of money out of pocket for me at the time. And I was only a newer real estate agent back then. And well, I got the house. So it actually worked out. So I don't know if you want to be putting yourself behind the 8 ball like that, but that is a possibility. You will have to come up with a lot of money. What I'm noticing right now is that builders are wanting even 10%, let's say. So if you're putting in a $1 million new build, you're gonna need $100,000 out of pocket immediately to get this new build. Another cool part would be you guys get a design stage. Now, a really good tip for you guys would be to take the day off work. Turn your phone off. Don't be like me that has the phone ringing the entire time during the design process, because this is the day you're gonna actually pick out your house. So even before you get to this meeting, you're gonna be wanting to do a lot of planning, really studying what you can have in the house so that you're coming kind of prepared. It might be a day that you don't really know what's going on, but this is the day you're gonna be getting your house. So you might want to know what your floors are going to look like in your downstairs bathroom versus your master bathroom, and have a bit more of an idea of how many pot lights you're going to have. You might get an allowance for pot lights. It might be, say, 10 pot lights, but you might want 20 pot lights. But be prepared to be paying out of pocket for every one of those pot lights, because they will give you a bit of an allowance for whatever package you took buying the new build. You can probably do anything you want, but it's going to cost you money. You want paneling on your fridge? They will put paneling on your fridge. But it's going to cost you more money if it's not already within the basic package that you bought. If you walk to the model home open house and you saw how beautiful that was, well, of course it was. That's where the builder showed off all the things that they can do. It's like the perfect showroom, and they want you to go and say, I want 20 pot lights, but then the package says you can only get 10. So be prepared to have a lot of money going out of pocket right then and there. Now, there are designers that will be there with you, and they can give you guys a lot of tips. If you have no idea what you're doing and you just don't even want to know, ask the designers. That's what they're there for. If you're there for an hour meeting, maybe you have multiple meetings, ask questions all the time. They're used to it. They will answer all your questions about, can you do this backsplash versus that backsplash? They'll usually show you a few different things that they can do, and you can make your decisions. And you can even ask them, like, does this work? Like, I'm not a designer. Like, is brown and gray good in this area? And they'll give you their tips of what they're seeing, currently within homes, and you can emulate that or go completely rogue and do whatever heck you want and paint the bathrooms pink for all I care, but it's up to you, and that's the day to do it during your design meeting. The next big one would be time. Now, normally when you buy a resale home, you might put in an offer and it's going to be closing, say, in 30 days or maybe even 90 days, but you're generally getting into that home pretty quickly. But with new builds right now, especially during the years that we've all just had, things are taking a lot longer to build. Supplies have gone up. A lot of the new builds will actually take a year into the future, if not more, to actually build for you to get the keys and to move in. So it is a long time of a process to have your house built. You might drive by it 10 times, go to look at it, but it's gonna take a bit of time. Now remember, you're gonna have to put that deposit out front probably pretty early unless you got the tiered deposit. So that's a lot of money out of pocket immediately. When you buy a resale house, normally you're just doing your deposit and you're in that house, like I said, pretty quickly. But with this, it's a lot of money out of pocket. You can't earn interest in your bank account, you can't lend it out. The builder gets to use your deposit for the entire year. So just something to be cognizant of, that it is quite the commitment to purchase a lot and start to build a home. They want to see their money. Plus, they don't want you to not close, so they want you to have some skin in the game, and that's kind of why they're doing it as well too. So just be prepared for a long process. And now, if it gets close to the closing date and you're like, yep, I'm gonna be closing on time, be prepared if, it's just humans building these homes. Contractors are sick and bricklayers are busy. The builder might push your closing date to the right. It can happen. They will give you the proper allowed time to let you know that it will be. So like, let's say if you're going to be closing on August 1st, all of a sudden they might be telling you you're going to be closing on September 12th. And that can happen, and you're gonna have to be prepared. Now, if you've given your landlord notice or you've sold your home, you might have to figure out what you're gonna do between that time if you've already you're gonna be homeless. If they continue to push to the right in certain areas, they may have to put you up in a hotel room, but we hope to not get to that. Remember, it's a weird game, but the builder does want his money fast, so he does want you to close on time. It's not like he's doing it on purpose. He would rather it close on time. It's just like the reality of situation. So get mad all you want, but you're just gonna have to kind of go with the flow when you're doing new builds. Just be prepared. It may not close on time. Just all of a sudden the cement guy is nowhere to be found, and it just happens. And that's kind of why these builders, they don't lock themselves in completely to this closing date, because then you can be like, you didn't close. I want a free house. Like, that's just not how it works. They have perfect clauses to help them out within here, all these temporary closings. But yeah, just be prepared. A year, and then when you get there, it might wait a bit longer. So hurry up and wait. The next would be a mortgage approval. So again, just like with a resale house, you're probably getting a mortgage approval if you are getting a mortgage, and it might give you a 90-day approval. You go out shopping, you see the house you want, and you buy it, and they come to an agreement, and you're likely in there, and the bank approves the money, and you get the home. But like I said, with a new build, they might take 1 year to move into it. So even if you go to your mortgage broker right now and you say, hey, I want to buy $1 million house and it won't close till next year, they're just going to say, yeah, come back 90 days before the closing. All right, so what do? You got to make an offer, and you can't make it conditional on bank financing because it's so long. It's a tough one. You pretty much have to go in relatively firm, and a couple tips would be, one, keep your job. Don't quit your job. And two, don't get fired from your job. If you are relying on any, what we call here, T4 income in Canada, you need that salary to be coming in to show. If you were approved for $1 million house this year, likely you would be approved next year as well too. So you just gotta stay consistent in your self-assessment, so that can happen. Now, if the year goes by, okay, and if you did lose your job, there are a few things I could suggest for you guys. You could go to a B lender, and you might be paying more in a mortgage for, let's say, 1 year. And then once you get your life sorted back out, your self-assessment looks a lot better. You might be able to go back to say the big banks and show them that life is good now, give me a real mortgage. So you could still close on time, because you don't want to not close, because that $100,000 might be up for grabs, and it's not like you're getting it back if you don't close, not immediately, unless you won it back in a court case, or talk to your real estate agent on that one, or your lawyer. But not good in general if you don't close. So you could go to a B lender or other private lending just to survive the year if you needed the cash. So you might need $1 million, but it might cost you 8%, 10%, and yeah, you're gonna have to I work extra hard to pay for those months, but it's gonna suck. But at least you got your home, and hopefully you can sort yourself out and get a traditional lower interest rate mortgage after year one. The next thing, you're buying this brand new home and you think it's gonna be absolutely perfect, but a little bit of advice. New build homes will not be perfect, okay? You think you buy a resale home, you think it's gonna have foundation issues and asbestos and knob and tube wiring. Oh, let me go buy a new build, it's gonna be perfect. Well, take any contractor to a viewing with you, or take a real estate agent, or take anybody in the trades. They're gonna see problems in a home all the time. You might see a perfect house. We're gonna see, oh, that floor's crooked over there, or that baseboard's a little bit off. Now, a bit of solace here, you will get a walkthrough right before you close. You take the painter's tape, and you can put little tapes everywhere that you see a deficiency. Now, the builder will have to go and fix those things, reasonable fixes. You could be seeing things like nail pops coming out of drywall. You can put the little tape on, all of that. But after they fix those ones and then you move in, more nail pops are gonna show up, and it's just kind of what happens sometimes in new builds. Now, you're gonna wanna pay attention to what are the dates that you can actually fix these other deficiencies once you move in. And it might be a 30-day grace period, and you can recontact the builder and let them know. Usually now it's online, and show them where the deficiencies are, and they will come in and they will fix those. You gotta pay a lot of attention to these dates, because if you miss them, you might be out of luck. So you got to really pay attention to the scale that's going down of what you're eligible to claim within a certain amount of time. So be prepared for that. Again, ask questions to your agents, to your builders of, how long do I have to make these claims? It's not like the builders don't want to fix your stuff, but they're also extremely, extremely busy. So any tips, you might sound like you're nagging to them, but it's kind of just staying top of mind. Like, hey, there's still that crack you got to fix. Hey, there's still that crack you got to fix. They will get to it. They have to get to it, especially if you're in a area where a warranty is provided on a new build. In my province, Ontario, you do get a warranty. Also, I believe Alberta and maybe one other province gets a warranty, but not all the provinces get warranties, and you got to check if you're in the States, if your state approves the warranties when you buy a new home. But here where I am, there is warranties. They have to belong to this association and they have to follow the rules. So, as a consumer, you can use that to your advantage. They will get to you. Just stay top of mind and keep bugging them, because they also have 50 things going on all day as well. Maybe not just your shower faucet that's leaking, okay? So, obviously that's bad, but they will get to it. And if you want them to get to it, just keep nagging them, but nag them in a nice way, okay? You don't want to be complete angry that there's something wrong, because again, there's always going to be something wrong in a house. There is no house, I don't care, even a sports arena that they spent billions of dollars, that's not a house, but like there's gonna be problems in that as well, okay? Something's gonna go wrong. It's just humans, and we fix those problems. So, if you wanna get into good negotiations, you don't come at them super hard, you just tell them and stay top of mind, and they'll get it done. The last thing to know would be you are moving into a construction zone. I know, it's kind of what happens when you buy a new build, and especially if you're one of the newer ones in there, you might be living, so you've already waited a year to get your house, and then you move into your house, and those bulldozers are still going up and down the street because they're building more homes. And it's just part of the life here. If you can take any solace in the fact, if a market is going up, when you first bought the house, when you gave that first deposit, say the $100,000, 1 year later goes by, the house hopefully has gone up. So when you got the keys, you might be sitting on instant equity within the house. So that's a bit of a solace. Now, the reverse could happen if the market went down and you bought it that 1 year, and you did have to close, and you'd have to close at the higher price point, and possibly the house would be worth less right then and there if you tried to sell it. But generally where I am, the prices are going up and up and up. So you might be sitting on maybe $100,000 by the time you got the keys. So those bulldozers, just think of them as the sound of money going by. But eventually you'll get a beautiful subdivision. Point of note, make sure you are driving carefully through your subdivision. I swear the contractors just throw nails onto the middle of the street, just buckets of nails, and your tires will pop on the way home, and you spend thousands of dollars fixing your tires all year. So, stay home in your house and just work from your computer and don't drive anywhere. But obviously that comes with different problems because there's still rumbling around outside. But, eventually your subdivision will be done. You'll get sod, it'll be beautiful, and you will love it, and you'll meet your neighbors, and everyone's gonna be so happy to move into their brand new subdivision and brag how awesome they are. And that's what it's all about. No, I'm just kidding, buying a new build, but it's pretty fun to actually move in there and meet all those people. And usually they were in the same boat as you. They might have gone with a different builder, but it's pretty cool. You're not just moving into a resale neighborhood. It's a lot of new. So get out there, start meeting people, walk your dogs. If you wanted to know what 1.2 million does in my city, I did a little video on it for one of my builders that I'm working for. I'll put the link in the description, what $1.2 million gets you in London, Ontario, Canada. And if you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button. If you want $10 of free stocks, make sure you guys use the link in the description for Wealth Simple, and we'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.